On this continent, there has been one super Fengman with only 3 disciples. When all the heaven-destroying forces heard his name, everyone will tremble. There once was a man named Night Breeze inside. Only one sword can conquer all things. Later, there will be great righteousness to protect the city for hundreds of years, but now I'm bringing you tea and water. There is also a person named Shadow. After slaying hundreds of millions of monsters in the Valley of Evil, like the evil ghost king who broke into the area and returned with his head in style. But now I wash and cook for you. There is also a woman named Xia Yuling. A wicker stick will fight the 3 great god emperors for 7 days and 7 nights. Later, he successfully counterattacked and killed 2 people, stepped through the void, become famous in one battle. But at this moment, I swallow the skirt for you and let you ravage me. According to legend, the head of the sect, he is a person who scares the world. But the truth is that I am mediocre in qualifications. Low-level waste. Not only is his cultivation level lower than that of his apprentice, even the physical constitution is not as good as a dog that guards the sect's home and courtyard. Fortunately, I woke up unexpectedly. The strongest sect system can detect talents. Invest heavily in promising species. It can also be based on the disciple's investment level. Get the corresponding best treasure. Then I am going to test the strength of the system. Unexpectedly, the test results left me confused. Good guy. Unexpectedly, the little apprentice I love so often on weekdays. She is actually the princess of the Great Xia dynasty. The purpose of coming to Xuanzong is actually to find Bing Ziming. Damn, it was all in vain for me to spend all my time with him. The clown is myself. And just when I was about to expel him from the school, the system suddenly sent a message, ding ding ding. Host, don't be too quick to get angry. This woman has great luck. You can increase the intimacy level to the post-ADS generation. You can try to instigate rebellion. Success will result in higher and heavenly rewards. At this moment I looked at the beautiful Xia Yuling in front of me. My heart has changed from sadness to happiness, and he counts me too. The only female disciple that the leader has recruited in the past 5 years. Although weird people like to cause trouble on weekdays. But I was very fond of this little girl at the time. But the next second I stared at the system interface and thought it was awesome. To know, the realm of practice is to open wheat, gather energy, perfect circle, forest sea, etc. And my current cultivation level, it's just the great perfection of the gas-gathering mirror. Some days ago, he was even seriously injured trying to break through the true circle mirror. Now you actually tell me. The disciple in front of me has just started for 2.5 years. He was actually Lin Haijing's peerless genius in his middle period. Immediately, the system releases the task. Let me invest in him a giant energy pill. Receive random youth level rewards. At this moment, I understood the meaning of the system, Zhao Yuling. Do you want a giant energy pill? Unexpectedly, after Xia Yuling made a mistake for a moment, it returned to its original state. How do you know the Palm Prince? I've already started selling gas, and it's full of money. I came here this time to ask for a giant energy pill from you. Immediately, Xia Yuling burst out with a burst of momentum. Surging cyan aura emerged from his body. In addition to spiritual power, these are the 7 perfect signs of opening sales. Because Jukitan is specially designed to sell the 7 major. The decoration of perfect state, breakthrough used him to hide Linghai Qi's cultivation. I have no choice but to say this in Chinese. I was also stunned for a moment. Hahaha, I'm pretty good at pretending. I didn't expose Xia Yuling either. After all, I still need to complete the investment tasks of the system. Then I took out the key gathering sheet from my storage bag. Prepare to hand it over to Xia Yuling. But his pupils shrank slightly, his face full of disbelief. Because what he just said was his deliberate excuse. I have already started selling 9 major successes. If you need a breakthrough, come and test the storage. After all, for more than a year, he searched almost all the sects. No trace of the secret method was found. So just now Xia Yuling's divine power was slowing down. Slow release, unexpected things. However, it was detected by the system and blocked directly. I couldn't help but smile when I thought of this. I just want Xia Yuling to know. I am not simple now. Only if this is the case, only then can he stay in the sect with peace of mind. I can also collect wool more conveniently. Although it has not grown up yet. But it already has the appearance of overwhelming the country and the city. This scene that makes no secret of one's desires, fall into the eyes of everyone. Seeing Chu Yuan and others frowning. But secretly, Mr. Wei's eyes were filled with murderous intent. But he looked disdainful. Zhongshanzong is powerful. 3 days later, the Genshin sect will elect the holy ancestor. There is nothing unusual about Xia Yuling on the surface. I invite all the sects in Qingyan City to come and check on my colleagues. Discuss important matters together. Zuan even is waiting for me. The leader of a small sect came to curry favor with him. However, after a while, the good thing is, kid, don't be so shameless. But I just stared at him coldly. There are no too crisp words. Let this Genshin sect disciple die. After coming back to his senses, he reached out directly to grab Xia Yulin, but something strange flashed in his eyes. I want him to replace the benefits. This netizen just made some moves. I waved my sword expressionlessly. This sword energy rushed straight towards him. To his surprise, Bu Jianshi turned out to be a sword cultivator. As a true disciple of Genshin sect, his strength is definitely not weak. He immediately raised his hand to block the sword energy. However, the sword energy and spiritual power were so powerful that he couldn't resist it at all. It's almost like Kui Kula Ra can block my exploration of the divine world. Easily penetrated his defense, then stabbed him in the chest. Immediately he fell to the ground and died, although this approach is tantamount to enmity with the Genshin sect. But I didn't feel any loss at all, because the system just sent a prompt. Disciple Xia Yulin's favorability towards you increases by 3. Listen to the prompts from the system in your mind, because I feel happy. Did not expect. He actually said that breaking through the true essence mirror would not work. He just killed a clown randomly. You can actually get this kind of improvement in favorability. At this time, Xia Yulin didn't think it was a big deal to watch the excitement stand on tiptoes behind me, an invitation to read with myself. The leader has already made a grudge, so do we still go? At this time, I put this invitation into the space ring. Turn around and walk towards your cave. If you leave the word Dandan behind, then marry her. Although Wang Yue, the leader of Genshin sect. There's indeed something wrong with this rundown sect. It's Lin Haijing's Jonkin modification, the well-deserved #1 person in Qingyan City. However, for Genshin sect's banquet after the 7th, I'm not worried. After all, I am now. Although it is only the Jonkin cultivation level of key gathering mirror, but Yi suggested adding the Holy Spirit Kung Fu behind him, Tian Zuan Jianju and Tian Yuan Ling, physical improvement. I can do it now. After more than a year of pretending, it finally showed its flaws. Cross a big realm. Battle with Lin Haijing's modification. Then I calmed down. The most important thing nowadays, or how to make perfect use of these two superb bright veins. Break through the mystery of the true essence mirror. I was looking for something in the mall that could cover my smell. Treasures that block space. Only in this way can the best Mingmai be perfectly hidden. After a long time, my eyes lit up. Xia Yuling smiled in her heart. It's this key pattern formation that returns the heart and reverses the scales. After the formation is arranged, can form a giant yellow. A space like a turtle shell. Has good defense and strong covering ability. Although now I only have a sect pool of 20,000 points, but I bought it immediately without hesitation. After a long time, a thorny light slowly rose from beneath my feet. Then it continues to unfold in the void. But he didn't alert the snake. It contains countless complicated and secret town patterns, directly covering the entire island Zuanzong. However, such a huge movement, no one had any reaction. It's like you can't sense the formation at all. The only one who has been observing Yufeng is Wei Lao. At this time, he raised his head in surprise, looking at the formation patterns hidden in the void. Some people can't believe that this is the Qin spirit formation. His figure suddenly disappeared from Yufeng's cave, since it can block his divine stone. Then he appeared again in the sky above Zuanzong. He can clearly feel it. The entire sect was hidden by this formation. The way to formation is as difficult as climbing to the sky. That is, the righteous emperor who sees the cultivators. It is precisely because of this that righteous masters are rare in the world. The old man stared at Chu Yuan's cave for a long time. I still gave up the idea of going into it to find out. At the same time, Fa also kept warning himself to be careful. I'm not sure what trump card Chu Yuan has. Do not release the sacred stone at will in the future. The modifications of cultivating the righteous path often have powerful divine stones. If he often releases the divine stone protector, Chu Yuan will discover this sect. Sure enough, it's not simple. I don't know how the princess discovered such an existence. I have to ask the prince to find out the law. Soon the young figure disappeared in Zuanzong. At this moment, inside the cave, I watched the return of my heart come to an end. So after he took the giant Khitan, he left with nothing. After quietly arranging it, a stone in my heart can be considered relieved. With this formation, what if I get another treasure in the future? Then you can safely put it in the sect. Mysterious, I appeared in the sky above Deoxuanzong. Raising his hand, he took those to top-grade forest veins. Then he pushed it downwards. Just hear a bang. As soon as the best forest veins touched the ground, I looked at Xia Yulin's leaving figure with a leisurely expression. Then he lurked automatically. This kind of movement lasted for a full quarter of an hour. With the completion of the forest vein layout, mighty spiritual power continuously emerges from the ground, filled the entire Daxuanzong. Can Taoist Yufeng and Xia Yulin still accept it? After all, these two forest veins come from them. However, Zhao Chen, who was sitting there, opened his mouth in surprise, looking at this scene in front of me in disbelief. How could he not recognize the best forest veins? The princess of Daxia Huangke came here hiding her identity. Even though this thing existed in ancient times, There are rare treasures in the Zhao family, and now the palm prints of what he always thought were trash. But suddenly he took out two. Feel the rising concentration of spiritual energy around you, no matter how stupid Zhao Chen is. I also know that the palm print in front of me is unusual. Yi Feng is also not far behind him. This so-called Daoxuanzong. I'm afraid it's really a blow from the ancient holy emperor. He was a little stunned for a moment. It seems that my ruined sect. Originally, he gave up on finding Xuanzong's secret. I didn't expect this time. The sect leader actually took the initiative to reveal his strangeness. Xuangi seemed to have thought of something. In the originally numb eyes, suddenly a burst of hope burst out. At this moment he looked at Chu Yuan. Breathing has gained some foundation. The strong man who hides his sect. Maybe there's a way to cure the curse on me. It's not as simple as it seems on the surface. After some emotion, I turned back to Dongfu Pengxi and sat down. Mysteriously opened the system to receive rewards. Congratulations to the host. Obtain 500 points of Seeing Essence and Tianyuan Spirit Body. In addition, a gift pack for newbies will be rewarded. Mystery, an extremely powerful ability. It starts to spread from my danshin, filling my limbs and bones. At this moment, the wind and clouds are gathering above the cave, faintly forming a tornado shape. The whole sky. There are still traces of noise singing at this time. At this time, in an antique women's boudoir, Xia Yuling was tapping Erlang's leg. Little feet keep dangling. She looks lazy. Holding the giant energy pill in his hand, he looked at it carefully. Is it really just an ordinary key-gathering pill? There are no secret soldiers in Xuanzong. Xia Yuling just finished speaking. The whole mountain suddenly shook. Suddenly the key-gathering pill was shattered by him. Pill fragments exploded in all directions. He stood up suddenly and said in disbelief. There was a sound from heaven and earth. At the same time, in another cave, a man sitting cross-legged. At this moment, I suddenly opened my eyes. There was a sword surrounding him. This sword makes a clear sound. It seemed like he was urging him to do something. I saw the man in black feel it for a while. Frown. Is this noise? He still appeared in the cave of the leader. A quarter of an hour later, a circle of spiritual power surged out of my body, although I have never held a sword now. But the doctor's swordsmanship is like a dust vine. Years of grooming. This is the real way to change one's destiny against the will of heaven. My whole body is full of energy. There is sword intent flowing in the eyes, and the heart is extremely smooth. Feel the Tianyuan spirit body. And those kendo experiences. I started to open the system. Just now because of Xia Yuling, I haven't had time yet. Study this system carefully. Children's song, my voice fell. An illusory interface appears in front of you. The host's cultivation level is small garbage at the Joggen level of key gathering realm. 3 disciples and 3 undercovers. Main mission. Please host within 100 years. Lead the Kingswan sect to become the strongest sect in the Eastern spiritual territory. If the task fails, the system will automatically erase the host. Too much information. I didn't even react for a moment, just staring at the disciple line. He murmured somewhat puzzledly. The fact that the 3 disciples are undercover is also a fucking mystery. When I woke up, I wanted to slap my hand on the table. Grandma's emotional sect is not an undercover agent. This is a shitty sect that can revitalize itself. And just when I'm angry. My cave master. A figure in black is hidden in the night. The exposed moonlight illuminated the point between his sword and eyebrows. The whole person is as clean and neat as an unsheathed sword. If Chu Yuan were here, it can definitely be seen. This person is Yi, his disciple who came to Xuanzong. He didn't have any. Notice that not far behind him, there is a pure girl. Use a layer of void hide, covering up all the aura on his body. It's just that although he is behind Yi Feng, but neither of them found the other. Both of them focused on Chu Yuan's cave. However, a long time passed. But there was nothing unusual in the cave. It seems everything is calm. Yi Feng's brows wrinkled slightly. His purpose for coming to Daoxuanzong for 3 years, just to find a door, lost in ancient times. Zuanji Anfa. As for his true identity, it is the sword of the Long Sword sect, a super sect in the Dongxuan to bring the 9 great names of the sword family. Take off one of the swords to compete with peers of this generation. So he must succeed this time. Yi Feng's eyes are firm. He is bound to win the immediately. The night wind and starry night movement began to be released. The restricted area at the end of the trance. At this moment in the cave, I stare at the transparent screen in front of me. There is still some hesitation in the eyes. Find people to invest in. Night Breeze Investment Color. For help Yifeng break through the 6th level of Chen Holy Sword Bureau. I have a headache just thinking about this. The disciples are all undercover agents and may defect one day. If it were normal times, I wouldn't care. After all, just leave. But now the system still has a task. If it doesn't come within 100 years. Xuanzang cultivated it into the strongest sect in Donggokshuan territory, will be obliterated. At this time, I thought about it for a long time. Finally, he sighed. Let's try to build up our courage and give it a try. It's best to instigate rebellion. If you can't instigate rebellion, then think of other ways. No matter what, he is his disciple after all. We still need to help. Speaking of which, I slowly walk out of the cave. Yifeng's brows furrowed into the character Chuan at this time. He doesn't know what happened in the house. As soon as you enter, it's like entering a quagmire. Completely swallowed up. Can't find anything at all. Just when he was planning what to do next, unexpectedly, the leader Chu Yuan came out at this time. It startled him. He had to quickly hide his figure. Now I am strolling out of the cave. Now that we're all here, we can't come to an agreement. When Yifeng heard this, he immediately stood still on the spot. Only one thought in my mind was Xia Yuling, who was walking halfway. He was also frozen in place. Face full of disbelief. Can't seem to believe that he will be discovered. How could it be? I'm wearing a void skin. Can this also be discovered? Xia Yuling was puzzled. But Chu Yuan's words already revealed his secret doubts. But just when he was about to show his body, suddenly a familiar voice came from behind. Please forgive me, master. This voice made Xia Yuling's delicate face full of mistakes. Didn't I come to the grassland to talk about me? Xia Yuling turned around and looked. Just in time to see Yifeng take one step forward. Coming behind Chu Yuan, Yifeng's appearance fell into Xia Yuling's eyes. Make him more violent. Brother idiot said. Xuanzang had 3 disciples in total. Xia Yuling naturally remembers Yifeng's appearance. It's just Xia Yuling's impression. Although the senior brother has a good image on weekdays, but I keep a straight face all day long. Unless the boss calls him sometimes, no one will be seen. My senior brother. Were you also attracted by the movement of the vision? It's just a good idea to borrow it from yourself. Senior brother, come and test the leader. Xia Yu Lingshuang eyes. An interesting smile appeared on the corners of the flickering lips. The weird thing is, Chu Yuan didn't seem to care that he was spying on him secretly. Instead, he changed the topic. Zhaofeng, you have been with the sect for 3 years, right? Did you know that there are tens of thousands of sword cultivators in the world? Why are there so few people who can understand the true meaning of swordsmanship? Because they have lost a breath of air. Sword Shu Rui Yi Wuxuan. There are often few opponents at the same level, but what if we are both sword cultivators? If thousands of sword cultivators in the world compete for the position of leader, how many people dare to have such unparalleled sharp wings? After Yifeng heard this, he didn't say anything about the tens of thousands of sword cultivators in the world. It has already made him sleep restlessly day and night. I haven't stopped talking. As a swordsman, I have neither sharpness nor arrogance. In the same fight, you became half separated from your sword for nearly 3 years. Timid, looking forward, and have you ever had the slightest carefree demeanor of a swordsman? Since you have 3 feet of breeze in your hand, Nabento has the confidence to master the art of swordsmanship. Yifeng's pupils dilated, and his whole body felt like he was struck by lightning. The entire lineup becomes sleepy, but I'm not done yet. Accompanying my own words, the surrounding space actually caused a slight gust of wind, mixed with endless sword shadows. I have a thought. Twigs with arrows, handing out a calamity toward the distant horizon. I was killed by a sword cultivator where he met a dragon. Wherever there is wind and thunder, cut off the wind and thunder. Even if you are facing the enemy, the sword immortal in the sky, even with all my sword intent, I can never retreat. You should be optimistic about the mystery of this sword. I swung my sword. Those sword intentions are like dragons. Around the direction of that sword, flying towards the distant place. Those kendo experiences that have always been stored in my mind. Although accompanied by this sword, it's all blended together. Between heaven and earth. The sound of swords resounded throughout the road. The sword energy stirred up a violent wind on the edge of the spiritual power. But the sword light directly hit the mountains in the distance, cut a ravine out of those mountains. Yifeng stood there blankly, like the bottom of a jar of awakening pupils. My whole body feels like my scalp is numb, accompanied by Chu Yuan's sword. The suggestions in his dancing were also deeply affected, excited and excited. I felt a lot of tranquility in my mind for a while. It really feels like a breakthrough, such terrifying power. Our palm prints also embarrassing. Xia Yuling's mouth opened wide as if she couldn't believe it. He just sensed it. The one about Chu Yuan just now. Never used any spiritual power at all. Just relying on suggestions. Xia Yulin looked into the distance, the huge ravine created by Chu Yuan. Suddenly I felt a little scared. Fortunately, I brought over the void hide from my clan. Or if I'm discovered, I have to ask my father for help again. My face is calm and calm. Does Yifeng still remember how long he has been in the sect? Classical Chinese Yifeng walks deeply for a while. The meaning of my words is obvious. But he seemed a little unbelievable. Reacted quickly. A wry smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Also, according to the leader's strength, when I first started, he discovered his abnormality. The master's disciple has been here for 3 years. I know what you mean, master. My true identity discrimination. I interrupted him mid-sentence. I don't care about your identity. I only know that you are now a disciple of my Dayakshuan sect. Besides, you have done really well in the past 3 years. Keep it up. If you keep doing this, I won't treat you badly as a teacher. Yifeng obviously didn't react. I didn't expect Zhu Yuan to answer like this. Originally he thought the leader wanted to ask about his origins. The result is to praise myself for doing well in the past 3 years. Not only Yifeng. Even Xia Yulin, who was hiding in the dark, looked uncomfortable. He didn't expect that his idiot brother. It's actually so powerful. And it seems he is also a disciple of a certain large sect. Xia Yulin is looking forward to it. Unexpectedly, I was interrupted. Xia Yulin almost went crazy. Unsatisfied, he stomps his feet and puffs up his lips in anger. You don't care, I care. But although I don't know Yifeng's identity, but from the dialogue Xia Yulin knew clearly that he was an idiot. I'm afraid that senior brother also came to this Zuanzong looking for a treasure. It's just bad luck that I was discovered. Think of this. A look of pride suddenly appeared on Xia Yuling's face. Seems very happy. His identity has not yet been discovered by Chu Yuan and Yifeng. Similarly, Yifeng on the other side is not stupid. I soon understood what Chu Yuan meant. Immediately, I was overjoyed and shouted to Chu Yuan for a second. Yes, the leader. I didn't continue talking, I just waved my hand. Then he turned around and walked towards his cave. Yifeng watched Chu Yuan walk into the cave. Thousands of thoughts in my heart. After thinking for a long time, he could only say goodbye to me again. Yifeng will remember today's kindness in my heart. Then he turned around and walked to the edge of the cliff, looking at the mountains and rivers in the distance. What Chu Yuan just said kept coming back to his mind. As a swordsman, I have the aptitude for swordsmanship. Even if I am a sword cultivator, I will face the enemy of the heavenly sword immortal. Even with all my sword intent, I can never retreat. Yifeng gradually calmed down. The sword intent in Danshan is getting more and more turbulent. It is common to see several people in the sect who covet his sword position. Another example is the evildoer of Dong Zuanyu. No matter how powerful it is, so what? I hold 3 feet of breeze in my hand. You should have the confidence to defeat the leader who is hard to see. How can we achieve great things if we are so timid? Yifeng turned around again and shook his head towards my cave. Master and disciples have learned the lesson. Yifeng only felt as if something was broken inside his body. The 6th level of Changfeng Holy Sword. Oh, now I am back in the cave. I heard the system beeping. Congratulations to the host for completing the investment. The investment level this time is purple and rewards Taiangshuan sword technique. Did I break through the 6th level so quickly, as expected of a sword? Even though I said that. But there was no expression of surprise on his face. Instead, he eagerly looks at the rewards of this investment. I was stunned and then laughed. It turns out to be the Taiangshuan sword technique. It's interesting. There's a lot of wool gathered up now. Yifeng came to Zuanzong just for the Taiangshuan sword technique. I didn't expect that I would really master it now. This is one less thing to worry about. Receive award. As my words fall, suddenly a lot of information flooded into my mind. A strong man appeared in my eyes. Although he can't see his appearance clearly, his aura is extremely terrifying, almost shaking the world. Even the void will be shattered by him. This strong man holds a sword in his hand, continuously dancing and strengthening in front of me. Every move is extremely terrifying. A long time. Only then did the figure of the strong man gradually become illusory. I also recovered. It's actually a holy technique. No wonder it was worth Yifeng's 2 years of searching. The skills between heaven and earth are divided into human, mysterious, earth, heaven, and holy land. It's also pressed at the bottom of the box. Even if the holy technique is in a super holy place, if you have one, it is already a treasure in the town. And this holy martial art, or the swordsmanship that matches Yifeng, no wonder he pursues it so crazily. Just purple reward. Is it already so rich? I looked at the investment return function of the system. If it is a red investment or even a golden investment, I don't know how generous the rewards will be. It's even very possible that it's a payment. Even I was shocked when these words came out of my mouth. If the earth does not come out for 10,000 years, don't say the Emperor's Sutra. Even the entire Dongakshinu cannot be seen now. Being able to see objects from the earth and having great luck are hard to find. The fantasy world I live in is extremely huge. Even if it is just a Dongzuanyu, it is already extremely vast. Just like a monk, even if he embarks on a lifetime, it is difficult to finish it. And these two disciples of my own. One is a princess of the Great Xia dynasty. Another sword from the Long Sword sect. They are all rare lucky ones among hundreds of millions of people. Even so, it's just cyan and purple luck. If red luck and golden luck, I don't know what kind of person can have it. I'm afraid he has to be the legendary son of destiny. Mentioned July. I suddenly remembered that I have a second disciple, Zhao Chen. Since the identities of Yifeng and Xiao Yuling are so terrifying, thinking about it, this second disciple shouldn't be much different. However, there is no information about this disciple in the system interface. This makes me a little strange. And right now, the system suddenly sent a message prompting the disciple to be depressed. Investment color red identity undercover. Appears to be a disciple of Daoxuan sect. In fact, he is the genius of the Zhao family in ancient times. Purpose of coming here. It is to find out whether Xuanzong is the remnant of the ancient holy emperor. I was not too shocked when I discovered the truth at this moment. He even showed a playful smile. Because of the red investment talent. It means that if the investment is successful, you will get a holy magic weapon. And don't be surprised about the undercover identity. There are 3 people in the entire sect. They're all fucking undercovers. Fortunately, you can try to instigate rebellion by cultivating your own intimacy, and if you invest successfully, you can get many magical weapons. Then I am going to find my second apprentice to invest. But the next second I didn't hesitate to take precautions. Only the text on the system interface can be seen. Sudden inexplicable changes. After a while, I couldn't help but sigh secretly. This second disciple of mine has a really rough fate. If the Danshin is damaged and the cultivation level is lost, forget it. He was also cursed by an extremely powerful semi-saint and will soon die, just afraid of depression. I guess you encountered some kind of danger during this period. Naturally, you can't tell anything by just looking at the information. You have to see it in person to confirm. I'm going to set off to take a look outside the mountain gate. Outside Zongmen Mountain at this moment. One covered in blood. A man in ragged clothes is climbing up the mountain gate. The eyes are like stagnant water. Shots full of decadence and numbness. I think at first he thought that this Dao Xuanzang was some ancient. The holy emperor's legacy turned into a disciple and came to investigate. Unexpectedly, I haven't gained anything in the past 2 years. It was only half a year ago that I left Daoxuanzong and went to various places to gain experience. As a result, I didn't expect that in that secret realm. Suffered a half-life curse. Xuanji immediately returned to his family, but even though the Zhao family tried their best, spent countless geniuses and imperial treasures, there is no way to solve this ancient in half. Saint at the cost of his own soul. The curse of life planted. This also means no one in Dongzuanyu has the possibility to solve him. From then on, his life began in this world. There have been earth-shaking changes. A rare genius from the Zhao family through the ages turned into a complete waste. There is no possibility of getting up again. In order not to embarrass my father, who is the head of the family, then he returned to Dangshuanzong, and just when he was thinking wildly, next second, then he saw a figure in white walking towards him. Xuanji bowed his hands and said he had met the master, even if there is no cultivation, but he can still recognize it. It is the head of Xuanzong in the distance. Chu Yuan. It's just a small embellishment to gather energy and achieve perfection. At this time, I looked at him and my eyes lit up. The Danshin is well damaged. It's not a bad thing to be cursed for half your life, right? And I behaved so strangely about this matter. This is because of the system voice in my mind. Investable investors are found to be red in color and dangerous. There is only one person in a fairy land. The mission is to help Zhao Chen regain his confidence after hundreds of millions of years. At the same time, he helped her successfully break off the engagement. Zixu Yu's successful mission will reward you with the perfect inheritance of the great sage. But it should be noted that red is a high-grade investment. Risk factor is higher. Please host improve your cultivation as soon as possible. At this moment, I look at Zhao Chen as if I were looking at a baby. At the beginning, all meridians are severed and it is impossible to practice. Furthermore, the engagement was annulled. The plot and the surname is Zhao Zi. This is an inappropriate template for the son of destiny, the earth. How was this experience? What's the gain? I asked softly with a smile on my face, but the next second, Zhao Chen subconsciously retired. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something. But I swallowed it in the end. He lowered his head and said that his disciples are incompetent. Not only was there no gain from this experience, it also caused the Danshan to be broken into pieces and become a useless person. At this moment, I looked at the dull, stiff and numb eyes. Didn't ask why. Just put your hand on his shoulder. The road to spiritual practice is inherently difficult. It's already pretty good to be able to come back alive. Although my Dao Zuanzong is shabby, but there is no problem in feeding one person. Zhao Chen raised his head and was a little surprised. No cultivation at all. I don't know how many hardships he has suffered in the past 6 months. Did not expect. In a small sect where I once stayed, I found a long-lost warmth. He suddenly thought about the 2.5 years since he entered the sect. Chu Yuan has always regarded him as his own son. Although there are not many resources within the sect. But many times Chu Yuan himself is reluctant to use it. Instead, he stayed and gave them a few disciples. It is easy to add icing on the cake, but it is difficult to provide help in times of need. Zhao Chen's eyes were slightly moist, and the corners of his eyes were red, although I know Chu Yuan's words are just to comfort him, but he was still moved. Leader. Actually, I interrupted him before he finished speaking. I know what you want to say, it's okay. Now you must be exhausted on the way back. Let's go and rest first and talk about it later. And facing my depressed attitude is worth doing, right? After the mystery is handed over to the truth, go to your own cave. Since he left, my heart, which I can't hold back, is beating crazily. What a treasure I found. If it succeeds this time, you will definitely obtain the holy miracle skills and soar into the sky. As for the red difficulty and whether the copy can be completed, I'm not afraid of this at all. The fantasy world is a place where the weak eat the strong. A strong man can cut mountains and seas and cut rivers with one sword. The weak live in vain, the weak dare not move forward. If you worry about everything that will endanger your life, the path to Taoism will definitely not go very far. But just when I was thinking, the next second my face turned sharp. Because of my Danshan area, there was a feeling of breakthrough coming over me. Is there another breakthrough? Since the physical transformation, the benefits Tian Yuan spirit brings to you is very huge. Mystery, I gather my mind. But at this moment, the taste of spiritual veins is not the time to make a breakthrough. Forcefully suppress this urge to break through. A few days passed in a flash. After being depressed these past few days and not cultivating, I can only wander around inside the sect. Thousands of miles to Zuanzong's battlefield. Now there are only him and Chu Yuan. The scenery is beautiful and quiet. Zhao Shiniwefa felt that she had chosen the right place. Sure enough, it's suitable to wait for death. But at this moment, a figure appeared on the horizon in the distance. Slim and charming figure. That person is his nominal junior sister Xia Yuling. At this moment, he was walking toward Chu Yuan's cave, covered in dust. It feels like there is something to explain. He even passed by his own cave on the way without stopping. This made him very confused. In the past, this little junior sister liked to play with me the most. Why don't you even say hello when you see me now? However, Xiao Chen's doubts have not yet been resolved. Not long after Xia Yulin left, senior brother Yi Feng also followed closely behind. In my impression, although senior brother has a straight face all day long, but people are quite diligent. Yes, they will exchange a word or two when they see each other. However, Yi Feng also walked past him, not to mention saying hello. He didn't even blink straight towards Chu Yuan's cave. At this moment, Zhao Chen couldn't help but look confused as to what was going on. What happened? Zhao Chen narrowed his eyes and looked at Chu Yuan's cave. A little bit of curiosity arose in my heart, about to get up and go. But then he remembered that he was now burdened with the cursed Danshan Kuo Shui. Zuanji sat back down again. My eyes were once again filled with numbness and stiffness. At this moment, Xia Yuling was already sitting on the futon in the cave, smiling and bright-eyed, seeming extremely confident. Hey, I will definitely be the first this time. At this time I looked at his arrogant look. I couldn't help but laugh in my heart. Yuling, are you so sure that you can beat your senior brother this time? Xia Yuling raised her head slightly proudly, revealing a bit of snow-white bulldog zombie face. You can't beat me. But just when he was arrogant, Yi Feng's voice suddenly came from outside the door. Meet the head disciple Yi Fengson and fulfill his destiny. Found Lin Mai. I immediately put a smile on my face. In mind. Lin Mai, whom I have longed for so long, is finally here. But I haven't reached out to take the space ring yet. Xia Yulin was also born. The head of the sect, Liner, also found a Linmai. After saying that, Xia Yulin also handed over a space ring, almost lost his grip, losing the hand. A space ring containing the finest Linmai drops to the ground. He turned to look at Xia Yulin, face full of incredible look. Because the boss originally sent the mission to find Lin Mai. Just let them experience it. I can find Lin Mai myself. I also fought 300 rounds with many forces. Just got it by luck. But this little junior sister who was naughty and mischievous in his mind, how did you get it? Yifeng looked confused and at a loss. At this moment, Xia Yulin saw Yifeng's eyes out of the corner of his eye. But there is no explanation at all. Zuanji raised his head slightly again. A disdainful smile appeared on the corner of the mouth. Seems very happy. Yifeng's red and shriveled zombie face wants to be snatched away. Doesn't even have a baby. I didn't notice the little moves between the two of them at this moment. Looking at the two space rings in front of me, I can't take my eyes away at all. You must know that before the system wakes up. As the leader of a sect. At that time, Zuanzong was extremely dilapidated. There are not even a few spiritual stones. It only takes half a month now. To disciples brought to spiritual veins. However, I was so excited at the moment that I didn't notice. There is also a hidden figure in the void. Watching everything in the dark. The secret person, beard revealed. It is the guardian Wei Lao beside the sound of the Daxia prince's flute. At this time, his expression was complicated as he looked at Chu Yuan and Yifeng in the cave. He followed Xia Yuling all the way here. I thought the princess was exploring a secret place. Did not expect to actually arrive in such a dilapidated sect. Not only that, the death of my own princess. It is clearly going to be from the Great Xia treasure house. The best spiritual veins taken away. Give it to Chu Yuan. If it weren't for Yifeng taking out one, an extremely valuable space ring comes out. He has already taken action to take down Chu Yuan's head. To the prince. But even so, he was still full of doubts. Everything in this entire sect is extremely ordinary. How could it be a film and television sect? However, the next second after I got the ring, can't wait to reach out my hand. Take those two space rings. Then he found out the divine stone and submerged it into it. Modified storage magic weapon is often to use storage bags. Only high-level modifications will use space rings. This is because the production of space rings is far more complicated than storage bags are a lot more difficult to put on. And the materials are more precious. So even the lowest level space ring, the price is also ridiculously expensive. Now the end of my sacred stone is Xia Yuling, after that space ring. As if sinking into the deep sea. There's so much space inside. Surprisingly. But just after I glanced at the space ring, but he was dumbfounded. I saw a thick spiritual vein inside it, snaking like a huge snake. The ring occupies most of the entire space. Just on the surface of the spiritual vein, many spiritual stones emitting spiritual energy were revealed. I was slightly stunned. I'm shocked. Could this be the ultimate Lingmai mystery? I couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. His eyes turned to another night wind ring. Could it be that this one also contains the best Lingmai? Having said that, I once again used my power to enter the restricted area. Sure enough, the space of this ring. It's bigger than Xia Yuling's. The spiritual veins contained inside are also extremely thick, meandering for hundreds of miles. Another top-quality spiritual vein. After the return of the Divine Master, the world will be spared. I couldn't help but take a breath. At this moment, I looked at the two rings in my hand and my pupils were slightly narrowed, although I know that these disciples of mine are all undercover agents. Extraordinary backgrounds. But this is too cool, right? It's a top-notch Mingmai who can buy my life. At this moment I can't help but feel the hand holding to space rings. It's getting a little hot. Boss, did I win? Quickly? At this moment, Xia Yuling was so excited that she almost jumped up. However, he looks like this. But he couldn't control the night wind beside him. Could it be that my little junior sister? What I found was not Xia Pin Mingmai, but Zhang Pin Mingmai. If it is really a middle-grade spiritual vein. He's about to start doubting himself. This seemingly innocent little junior sister. Where did it come from? Although this middle-grade spiritual vein can't compare to my own best spiritual veins, but it is definitely not something that ordinary people can take out at will. Zuanji Yefeng looked at me and waited for the result to be announced, but seeing Chu Yuan face his own top-grade spiritual veins, his face didn't even change. Even the secretly young man also discovered the anomaly. Move your life lightly and look towards Chu. He knows the source. In the space ring of my own princess. But it contains a complete top-grade spiritual vein. the value of this spiritual vein, but it is comparable to the natal weapon of some powerful Lingaxuan mirrors. Logically speaking, after seeing this little guy with a mirror, you will definitely be shocked beyond words. Why are you still so calm? Hi. In an instant, I brought back the minds of the three of them. Mysterious, I looked at the two people with expectant faces and suddenly smiled. The level of spiritual veins you two are looking for is the same. This makes it difficult for me to decide who to give the reward to. How can it be the same? Xia Yuling immediately stood up and said unceremoniously, "This is the best spiritual vein we have." I nodded seriously. I know Yifeng's too, so it's hard to choose this one. At this time, Xia Yuling's head turned around. Looks like Yifeng. Can't believe it. You took a top-grade spiritual vein. Yifeng was shocked when he heard what I said. Pupils slightly dilated and looked at Xia Yue. How come you have the best spiritual veins? However, just when everyone was extremely surprised, even Mr. Wei, who was secretly almost couldn't hide himself, the body shape is revealed and the legs are exposed to top-quality spiritual veins. How can it be? What kind of holy land is this? A lonely and unpopular sect. Up, down, down. They are all undercover agents sent from various places to hide in hiding. Isn't our sect an unfashionable ravine? How come every one of them raised his hand and got a top-quality spiritual vein? At this moment, Yifeng's eye stayed on Xia Yuling. He is a noble and distinguished son of the common clan. It can be said that the entire Donggaxinu generation is younger. There are few people with more noble status than him, but even so, still have no rights. Dispose of a top-notch connection at will, but now in front of me. This seemingly innocent little junior sister, he even took out a top-grade spiritual vein. This is so abnormal. It seems that the identity of the younger junior sister. Not simple. Night Breeze stared at Xia Yuling and thought to herself. Zombie company, where are you from? He can actually produce a top-quality spiritual vein. That night on the cliff next to the cave, Xia Yuling only saw Wu Shuji, because I saw Yifeng draw his sword. So he knew that Yifeng was lurking on the island. Xuanzong's identity is definitely not simple. But I didn't expect it to be so extraordinary. He can actually produce a top-quality spiritual vein. At this moment, I looked at the two people confronting each other, laughing in my heart. It seems the two of them don't seem to know each other's identities yet. All right. Since the spiritual veins you two found are of the same level, there are rewards over there, right? My words brought the two of them back from the confrontation. Zuanji said to reward modes. The first reward is the first 3 levels of a skill. And the second reward is half of my promise. A look of hesitation appeared on Zuanji Xia Yuling's face. He came to Xuanzong's room. It is Bingzimi, one of Jiumi. This technique was used in ancient times, once had a great reputation. This is why Xia Yuling does not care about the cost. The reason for stealing the best Mingmai. I choose the second one. Xia Yuling paused and said decisively. In his opinion, he still has a long time to stay in the set. Since Chu Yuan has so many skills, you can definitely take your time. By contrast, it must be half a promise from an existence like Chu Yuan, more valuable. After a moment I smiled slightly. This girl has a long-term perspective. Then wait until Yifeng receives the reward. I didn't let him choose. I just threw a book of exercises to him. It actually made Yifeng excited. All the suggestions in my body were poured out. The sword is the body, the sky reaches the extreme, is the earth reaches the void. Yifeng has been building since he was a child. He quickly recognized that what I passed on to him, but there are many obscure sentences in it. It was difficult for him to understand, and he could only forcefully write it down. After a long time, I just used the first 3 levels of Taiyangshu and Jianyu. Passed all to Yifeng. These are the first 3 levels of Taiyangshu and Jianyu. You practice well. It will be of great benefit to your swordsmanship. Although I don't know this Yifeng. What kind of swordsmanship do you practice? But this Tianzu and Jianju, it is a genuine winning strategy technique. It must be enough for him. Taiyangshu and Jianyu. It's actually Taiyangshu and Jianyu. The purpose of his coming to Xuanzong was for the swordsmanship. I never thought I would learn it so quickly. Since you both got what you wanted, then leave. Remember to practice well within the sect. Is the leader? Yifeng and Xia Yuling walked out of Chu Yun's cave together. The 2 rooms then looked at each other. But in Yifeng's eyes, there is no more tenderness than looking at my sister in the past, but a deep fear. the junior sister I have been with for a year. I didn't expect the background to be extremely powerful. This made him scared for a while. Taoist Xia Yulin snorted a mystery in an extremely arrogant tone. Shaking his hair, he walked towards his cave. Actually, the biggest winner at this moment is not the 2 undercover photos. It's a small business where you complete tasks and get rewards from the system. Congratulations to the host for obtaining to top quality spiritual veins. Obtain sect value of 20,000. Increased sect infrastructure opens a new function to enhance luck. Really got rich overnight. Not only can you rely on to top quality spiritual veins, perfect breakthrough, real luck, you can even rely on the many treasures in the system mall. Fight across the street. I am very happy at this moment. I'm afraid that now in Fengwu County, the richest one is yourself. But now I don't have the ability to deal with him for the time being. Because the best spiritual veins contain, if you take it out like majestic and place it underground, such movement, it will inevitably destroy the entire Daoxuan sect. Exposed to public view, it will definitely attract the attention of many sects and powerful people. And robbery. So I plan to find a formation arranged outside Daoxuanzong. Cover up the aura within the entire sect. Only in this way can I wait until my grand ceremony. However, with peace of mind. I am still tinkering with the system interface, but he can't deal with the comfort hidden in the cave. Make a promise by passing on the exercises. And he put away the 2 top quality bright veins so casually, a drama close to the perfection of decoration. It can't be that simple. Do these things. It's not easy to get to Xuanzang anymore. After some hesitation because of the complicated eyes. In the end, I chose to retreat quietly. Because there is a problematic arrangement within the sect. Chu Yuan alone. There's no need to risk exposure by keeping an eye on him. And Yifeng, who accidentally revealed a suggestion just now, he can go find out the situation. However, after Mr. Wei left, suddenly a voice came from outside the sect. An envoy from Zhenshen sect comes to visit. May I ask where the Lord is? At this moment, Daoxuanzong Mountain Gate. A man wearing a black robe appeared. This person is a true disciple of Zhenshen sect. The people inside are used to being domineering, has been suppressing other sects in Qingyan City. At this moment, Wang Yang saw Chu Yuan and others coming. Such extraordinary temperament. Slightly surprised. After seeing the beautiful Xia Yuling, even more eye-catching. I didn't expect that in such an unconventional small sect. How could such a woman appear?